So we're doing page 2 of the frequency tables and graphs problem set. Frequency tables are pretty much like histograms or bar graphs that you've been doing all your lives. The only difference is on the x-axis, the way it's marked. So first we're going to take a look at that, how they mark the x-axis. Here we can see that they call the left edge of a data class a lower boundary, the right edge of a data class the upper boundary. The thing about a frequency, what do they call again? Frequency table in graph in math studies is that they want the upper boundary of one class to be the same as the lower boundary of another class. So if the upper boundary is 12.5 of this class, the next lower boundary is also going to be 12.5. Or if this is 16.5, then this is also 16.5. So the upper boundary and lower boundaries are going to be the same value. The other thing about data classes is they're all the same width. So since this is 12.5 to 16.5, which are 4 apart, then these are also going to be 4 apart. Okay, so these are going to be 20.5, this is going to be 24.5, this is going to be 8.5. And the thing you'll notice about the values of the upper boundary and the lower boundary is that they are halfway in between the top integer here and the bottom integer here. The top integer here and the bottom integer here. They're always halfway in between. So those are things you might notice about how you figure out the value of the upper boundary and the lower boundary. And this is for integer data, which is called discrete data. Now when you have rational number data or decimal data, they sometimes call it continuous data, then you can see that the values for the upper and the lower boundary are already the same. So it's very easy to write in the upper and lower boundary. And then you might say, well, if it's continuous data and the upper and lower boundaries are the same, then don't you get confused on like where 2.2, like if you have the data, raw data 2.2, does 2.2 go into this class or does it go into this class? Well, it's going to go into this class because you can see here you have a less than or equal to t, and here you have a 2.2 is greater than t. So 2.2 definitely goes in this class because of the less than or equal to sign. And you'll always notice that when you have continuous data in a frequency table that like the left inequality is going to be less than or equal to, and the right inequality is going to be less than. So that's how they do it. It's like the left edge is included in the range, the right edge is not included. Now let's go on to the next one. Now we're going to take our data, and you can see that this is continuous data. We're going to put this continuous data into a, what do you call it again? A frequency graph, okay? And so a frequency graph is going to have an x-axis with the edges marked according to these numbers. So for example, if this is 10, this is 15, this is 20, this is 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. And then the y-axis is going to be marked with the frequencies. And since the highest frequency here is 25, I need to make sure I have room for 25. Doesn't look like 25 spaces to me, so I'm going to have to count by 2. So I'm going to put 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, until I get to 26 so I can fit everything in. Okay? And then I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to highlight the blocks which correspond to the frequencies here. So from 10 to 15 euros, there are 2 dinners. So I'm going to mark this block which goes up to the number 2, the frequency 2. Oh, and I forgot one more thing. Here we're going to write cost of dinner, and here I'm going to write frequency. Okay. And then for 10 to 15, oh, I'm sorry, look what I did. 10 to 15 is 2. 15 to 20 is 8. Okay. 20 to 25 is 11. 11 would be halfway up that one, right? So you get the idea, right? This is 10. This is 12. Okay, and then I just continue on until I get to 50. 45 and 50. Okay? Last one. The table shows the age distribution of teachers at Genius Academy. Write down the lower and upper boundaries of each class. Draw a histogram to represent the information. Okay. So the frequency, the lower and upper boundaries of each one are just these numbers here. Okay. So 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. So it's just 20 to 30, 30 to 40, etc. Okay? And those are the numbers you write here. We're going to write at the edges of the columns, we're going to put 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 to 70. And then here on the left, we're going to put the frequencies. We need to go up to frequency 10, so I can't count by ones because there's not enough space. So I'll count up to 10 like that. And then for 20 to 30, I'm going to mark the frequency 4. For 30 to 40, I'm going to mark the frequency 8. 40 to 50, I'm going to mark the frequency 10. And so you just continue like that. And if you want to label the titles here, you would put age, and for here you would put frequency. Okay? All right, and that's it for page 2.